Have you ever wondered why some people leave this world so early? Do you think an early death is always unfair? Or could it hold a deeper law we have yet to understand? Hello my friends, and welcome back to the Son.Mindfulness channel. It is a joy to be with you on today's journey. Many people live in good health, yet pass away at a young age. Many families are left in shock, unable to find answers. This leaves us with deep sorrow and confusion. This video will help you see the issue from the perspective of karma. You will understand why some souls depart early. And more importantly, you will learn how to prevent it. Everything is based on Buddhist teachings combined with a scientific perspective. The content focuses on cultivating good karma and avoiding bad karma. From there, you can nurture your health, peace of mind, and long life. Son.Mindfulness shares meaningful spiritual stories and life lessons. We hope to help you slow down, understand more deeply, and love more fully. If you enjoy this content, please support us by subscribing to the channel. I wish you good health, peace, happiness, and good fortune. Your presence here is truly our joy. Please stay with us until the end of the video. Especially do not miss part 11. There, you will learn 9 ways to cultivate good karma. These methods can help you prevent an early death and open the door to a long, healthy, and peaceful life. Are you ready to explore? Then let's begin the main content together. Part 1. A person is a soul, not just a body. Have you ever sat quietly alone, reflecting on your life, and asked yourself, who am I really? Are we only this physical body, the hair that has turned gray, the skin marked by time? Or is there something deeper? I want you to imagine this. Our body is like a piece of clothing. We wear it for a period of time, and when it becomes worn, old, or when our journey is complete, we gently change into a new garment. The soul is the wearer, eternal, without birth or death, only temporarily residing in this body to learn the lessons of this lifetime. When someone, especially a young person or a child, leaves this world early, our hearts ache, we feel regret, we feel it is unfair. But if we look through the eyes of the soul, we see something different. It may be a soul that has lived many lives, has learned nearly all it needed, and has returned only to complete one small mission. Perhaps it came to bring joy or a lesson of love to its family, and then quietly departed. I remember a Buddhist practitioner in California once told me her daughter lived only 4 years. In that short time, the little girl brought the whole family closer together, teaching them to cherish every moment. She said, "If not for my little girl, I would never have learned how to love unconditionally." That was the mission of that soul. To come, to teach a lesson, and then to go. Science is also beginning to realize that human consciousness does not reside solely in the brain. Many studies on near-death experiences show that when the body stops functioning, there is still an awareness that remains. This is the soul, which exists beyond the limits of the physical body. So when you think of someone who has passed away, especially someone who left early, try to see them not as a body that is gone, but as a soul continuing its journey. They have not disappeared. They have only changed into a new garment, preparing for the next stage of their path. Have you ever felt the presence of someone who has passed in a dream, in a gentle breeze, or in a sudden moment of peace? That is the soul touching your heart, reminding you that love and connection never truly disappear. Part 2. A short life is not because of mistakes, but because the mission is complete. There are moments when we hear the news that someone has passed away far too young. A child, a young man, or a young woman in their 20s, and our hearts sink. Countless questions arise. Why so soon? Did they do something wrong? Is this some kind of punishment? But if we look through the eyes of the soul, the answer is completely different. A short life is not because of mistakes, but because their mission has been fulfilled. Some people in a previous life had nearly completed their lessons, with only a small karmic tie left to resolve. So they return in this life like a guest passing through, simply to give a gift of love or to close a karmic circle, then peacefully return to the higher realms. I recall a story from Texas. There was a boy born with a congenital illness who lived only 6 years. In those 6 years, he brought joy, resilience, and boundless love to his parents and to the small community where he lived. When he passed, the entire town gathered to hold a candlelight vigil. Everyone said, "He taught us to live each day to the fullest." If we measure life only by the number of years, we miss the most beautiful part of it. Just like a beautiful song does not need to last for hours to touch the heart. What matters is not how long you live, but what you do, how you love, and what mark you leave on the hearts you meet. Modern psychology also shows that the value of a human life is not in its length, but in the depth of meaning and connection created. A single moment filled with love can change another person's life forever. So when we see a short life, we might ask ourselves, what did they come here to do? What seeds did they plant in this world? And when we find the answer, we realize they did not leave too soon. They left at the perfect moment, when their mission was complete. Part 3. The law of karma is fair, loving, and precise. Have you ever wondered why some things seem unfair? Why a kind person suffers great loss while someone who does wrong still lives comfortably? If we look only through the lens of this single life, it's easy to see injustice. But when we look through the light of many lifetimes, we begin to see a deeper, loving order at work. Karma, the law of cause and effect, is not a harsh sentence. It's like a wave. Whatever you send out will, sooner or later, return to you, as surely as the tide returns to shore. This applies to both good deeds and those that are not so good. I once met a woman in Seattle who lost her 12-year-old son in an accident. In her grief, she began studying karma. Over time, she realized her son had come as a gift to teach her to let go of control and to love without holding on. When that lesson was complete, he left. And she said, "I no longer see it as a loss, but as a fulfillment." Modern science also offers some fascinating insights. Psychologists say that humans often search for meaning in major life events to help them endure suffering. From a scientific perspective, the law of karma works like a framework that shows us nothing happens by accident. Everything is the result of seeds sown, whether in this life or previous ones. But karma is not just about paying debts. It is also about balance, about the opportunity to love more, to heal. Some souls return simply to close a gentle karmic bond, with a word of thanks, a warm hug, or a tear of reconciliation. When we understand this, we fear and resent less. For the universe does not exist to hurt us. It exists to help us grow and return to our purest, brightest essence. Have you ever thought that one day, everything we've experienced, both joy and loss, will be revealed as perfect pieces of the puzzle, guiding us exactly where we were meant to be? Part 4. Good Karma, the Path, and Grace. When people hear the word karma, they often think only of the bad debts that must be repaid. But few remember that, like darkness and light, karma also has its bright and radiant side. The side of good karma, the path, and grace. Good karma is the collection of wholesome seeds we have planted across many lifetimes. They never disappear. Instead, they accumulate, nourish us, and bloom at exactly the right time. Some souls, when they return to this world, have very few tests left to take. They have already learned much, overcome many trials, and now need only a brief final chapter before leaving the classroom of earthly life. I recall a story told by an elderly monk in Oregon. He once met a little girl who lived only 8 years. In those 8 years, she never caused anyone sadness, always carried a gentle smile, and deeply loved everyone around her. When she passed, The entire temple came together to chant for her, and the abbot said, "She is proof of a soul that is nearly liberated." She came only to remind us that compassion is the shortest path home. Science, too, has observed that people who live in deep love, who give more than they receive, often create a lasting positive impact, even long after they are gone. This is also a form of grace, when the seeds we've planted become blessings for those who remain. When we understand this, death, especially an early death, no longer feels like just a loss. It becomes a sign that a journey is nearing completion. Have you ever met someone whose time with you was brief, yet their presence made your life so much better? They came to plant a good seed, and then departed in peace. And that's when we realize, some souls leave early, not because they lack something, but because they are already complete. Part 5. The Soul Contract Before Birth. Before we take our first breath, before we are given a name or a body, our soul has an important meeting. It is a time when we sit with wise beings, spiritual guides, and even with the divine itself to discuss the journey ahead. It may sound unusual, but think of life as a trip that is planned in advance. We choose the places we will go, the people we will meet, and even the challenges we will face. In this contract, there is not only joy, but also lessons. Some of them difficult, and sometimes it even includes the moment we will leave the physical body. This does not mean that everything is rigidly set in stone. We still have free will during our time on earth. But on the soul level, we already know the major milestones, and we are prepared for what may come. Some souls choose a long life to learn many lessons. Others choose a shorter life because their unique mission can be fulfilled in that span of time. I remember a woman in New York who lost her husband when he was just in his early 40s. In her grief, she turned to meditation and learned about the idea of a soul contract. She told me, "When I understood that he had chosen to leave at that time, so I could learn to stand strong and love myself more, I finally felt a sense of peace." Modern spiritual research, especially the work of Dr. Michael Newton, has recorded cases of past life regression in which people recall the planning process before reincarnation. These memories often match the experiences and relationships they later encounter in life. So, when someone leaves this world early, instead of only asking why, we can ask, what did they choose this for? What lesson were they here to teach us? When you ask that question, death no longer feels like a final ending. It becomes part of a loving blueprint, one that was drawn long before we arrived here. Part 6. A mission to light the flame of love. Some souls come into this life like a small candle. Their light may not burn for long, but it is enough to warm and illuminate many hearts. They may be here for only a short while, yet their presence leaves a deep imprint, forever changing those they touch. Imagine a night when the power goes out. Even a single candle, once lit, can fill the whole room with warmth and comfort. That is the image of souls who leave this world early. They arrive, shine their light, and then quietly depart. I once met a family in California who lost their 10-year-old son to a serious illness. The father told me, "From the day my son was born, our family became closer and more loving. Even after he passed, we kept that flame alive, continuing to share love with other families who were facing loss." Some missions don't require an entire lifetime to fulfill. Just a few years, a few months, or even a few days may be enough for a soul to plant seeds of love, awaken compassion, or guide someone toward a spiritual path. Psychologists call this the ripple effect, when a single small act can spread far beyond what we could ever imagine. For these special souls, their departure is not simply a loss. It is an invitation for those left behind to carry on the mission of love they began. Have you ever met someone who, even in a short time, changed the way you see life? Perhaps they were a candle sent to light your path. And when they leave, their light remains, with you in your heart, in your memories, and in every act of kindness you continue to do. Part 7. Soul Groups and Collective Karma. Have you ever met someone and felt as if you had known them for a very long time, even though it was your first meeting? Some connections go beyond the limits of a single lifetime. These are what we call soul groups. We do not walk through our lifetimes alone. Souls often reincarnate together, switching roles across different lives, sometimes as parents, sometimes as children, friends, or even adversaries. All of it is to help each other learn lessons, repay debts of love, and grow together. When a soul chooses to be born into a family, it is never by chance. It may be that in a past life, they and other family members had unfinished business or a promise left unfulfilled. Sometimes a child comes into this life not to stay long, but to help the family awaken, to change a pattern that has been repeated for generations. I once met a family in Texas whose little boy lived only 3 years. During that time, his parents, who had often been in conflict, learned to set aside their pride, care for their son together, and mend the fractures in their relationship. When the boy passed, they realized they had completely changed, and that he had been the bridge that brought them back to love. Family psychology research also shows that a major life event can be the catalyst to break long-standing negative patterns. In Buddhist teaching, this could be called the resolution of collective karma. A passing, though painful, can sometimes be the key that opens the door to healing. You might ask yourself, what did this person come to help my family release? What lesson did they want us to learn? When you find the answer, you may see that even loss is part of a loving plan your soul group chose together before you were ever born. Part 8. Early Wisdom. The Old Soul. There are children who, from a very young age, leave us in awe. They have eyes that seem deep as oceans, words that carry maturity, and a calmness far beyond their years. We often joke, this little one is wise beyond their age. But from a spiritual perspective, they may be an old soul. A soul that has journeyed through many lifetimes gathering wisdom and experience. Such souls don't always come into this life to learn much more. They come to teach, to share, and to remind us of timeless values, love, forgiveness, compassion. I remember meeting a little girl in San Jose. She was only 7, yet loved reading books about the universe and spiritual truths. When her mother asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" she replied, "I want to help people be less afraid of dying, because dying is just going home." Hearing that, both her mother and I had tears in our eyes. Old souls often carry a gentle energy that makes those around them feel at peace. Even if their time in this life is short, every moment they live shines brightly. Neuroscience has also documented cases of children with subconscious memories, or the ability to grasp concepts far beyond their age, something many researchers believe may be linked to memories from previous lives. When an old soul leaves early, it is not truly a loss, but a homecoming. They have fulfilled their role, leaving light and awakening in the hearts of those they touched. Have you ever met someone whose eyes, from the very first moment, made you feel as though you've known them forever, and brought you an unexplainable peace? Perhaps they were an old soul, stopping by only to light your heart before returning to their eternal home. Part 9. Making peace with pain, not in fear, but in embrace. When we lose someone we love, especially when they leave too soon, it can feel as if our heart has been torn into pieces. The pain is real, and no one has the right to tell us not to cry or not to grieve. Buddhist teaching does not ask us to deny our emotions. It teaches us to look directly at them, to hold them gently, as we would hold a crying child. Let the tears fall. Each tear is a reminder that we once loved deeply. But after the tears, we can begin to ask an important question. What did this person come to teach me? Perhaps they came to teach patience, to open the heart to compassion, or to guide us back to God. I remember a Buddhist practitioner in Florida who lost her husband to illness. At first, she shut herself in her room, refusing to see anyone. Then one night, she dreamed of her husband standing and smiling, saying, "I never truly left. Live the rest of your life as fully as you can." When she woke, she began to meditate, volunteer, and share her story to help others who were grieving. Psychologists also recognize that when we find meaning in loss, the process of healing becomes faster and deeper. Instead of allowing pain to close the heart, we can transform it into a doorway that opens toward light. Have you ever noticed that sometimes it is the wounds themselves that lead us to greater maturity and deeper compassion? The one we love may be gone from sight, but they never leave our heart. They remain in every prayer, in every breath, and in each loving act we continue to do in their name. When we learn to embrace our pain instead of fearing it, we may discover that even loss can become a spiritual gift. Part 10. Love, the thread that connects souls beyond time. There are threads that never break, even when death stands in between. One of those threads is love. True love is not limited by time, space, or the physical body. When someone leaves this world, the love they leave behind continues to live within us, in our memories, in every breath, and in each act of kindness we carry out. I have witnessed people who, despite losing a loved one, still feel their presence, a gentle breeze when they are thinking of them, a peaceful dream where their loved one smiles and offers a few comforting words, or simply a sudden sense of calm in the middle of life's chaos. Buddhism teaches that when our heart is turned towards someone with pure love, we are always connected to them. Like two lamps, when one shines, the other lights up as well. The science of consciousness has also studied what they call emotional energy fields, where love and positive thoughts can influence another person, no matter the distance. So even when someone we love has left their body, love remains, an invisible yet unshakable bridge between us. I remember an elderly woman in Boston who every morning would pour a cup of tea and place it at the seat across from her, just as she did when her husband was alive. She told me, "I know he's still here. I still tell him my stories every morning." For her, love had not disappeared. It had simply changed form. Have you ever thought that the best way to keep your loved one close is to live a beautiful life, so that every joy, every good deed, becomes a gift you send to them? Love is the language of the soul, and that language continues to echo beyond all boundaries of time and space until we meet again in our true home. Part 11. 9 Karmic Practices to Avoid Early Death. My dear friend, karma is not something mysterious or far away. It is simply the sum of everything we plant through our thoughts, our words, and our actions each day. Like a garden, whatever seeds we plant will be the fruit we harvest. If we wish to avoid an early death, to live long and live well, we must plant many good seeds, and be careful not to plant harmful ones. Today I want to share 9 karmic practices that, if cultivated often, can protect your lifespan, help you avoid sudden misfortunes, and allow you to live in peace and fulfillment. 1. Nurture compassion. A heart that knows how to love and forgive is the strongest shield we can have. Buddha taught, compassion is the root of the path. Modern science also shows that people who regularly do good and keep compassion in their hearts have stronger immune systems, steadier blood pressure, and lower risk of heart disease. I once met a 92-year-old woman in San Jose who spends 30 minutes each day chanting prayers for anyone in need, whether she knows them or not. She told me, "Maybe because I love people, heaven loves me." 2. Keep your words pure. Speech is the fastest form of karma to bear fruit. A single harsh word can cause deep hurt, plant seeds of hatred, and bring harmful consequences. Gentle, kind words, on the other hand, create harmony, soothe conflict, and help us avoid dangers that arise from disputes. From now on, try think slowly, speak slowly, so that every word you say becomes a good seed. 3. Eat mindfully and respect life. A healthy diet is a direct cause of health and longevity. Eat plenty of vegetables and whole grains, limit red meat and processed foods to reduce the risk of heart disease and cancer. In Buddhism, reducing killing and choosing food from kind sources helps us avoid the karma of taking life, a karma often linked to sudden death or serious illness. A Buddhist in Houston told me that after switching to a mostly plant-based diet, his health improved, his blood pressure stabilized, and I felt not only healthier, but lighter in my heart. 4. Do good and help others. Helping others does not just bless them. It plants blessings for ourselves. Psychological studies show that people who regularly give and volunteer tend to be happier and live longer. I remember a couple in Oregon who lost their daughter in an accident. They started a scholarship fund in her name to help children in need. They said, "Our daughter is gone, but through this, she is still alive and helping the world." 5. Keep your heart free from anger. Anger is like a fire that can burn down an entire forest of virtue. Medical research confirms that prolonged anger increases the risk of stroke, heart disease, and many other illnesses. When anger rises, try taking a deep breath, counting to 10, or stepping away from the situation. A peaceful heart is stronger than any medicine. 6. Learn to let go of greed. Greed leads to conflict, deception, and many karmic entanglements. Those who know contentment and live simply avoid many dangers and stress-related illnesses. Buddha said, "Contentment is wealth." Before chasing after something, ask yourself, do I truly need this for my happiness? 7. Care for your body as a sacred temple. Your body is the vessel that carries you through this life. Get enough sleep, exercise regularly, and have routine health checkups. A layman in California told me, "I practice yoga and meditate every morning. That's why, even at 70, I can still climb mountains." When we keep the body strong, we have the energy to plant more good seeds. 8. Maintain harmonious relationships. Relationships filled with conflict drain our life energy. Learn to listen, forgive, and reconcile. Those who live in warm, peaceful families often live longer. Don't let small disagreements become walls that separate loved ones for life. 9. Practice mindfulness daily. Mindfulness helps us live fully in the present, reduces stress, and prevents reckless actions. Meditation, chanting, or even a few quiet minutes each morning can nurture awareness. When the mind is clear, we create fewer harmful karmas and naturally plant more good ones. You see, a long life is not only about diet or medicine. It is about how we live and how we treat the world every single day. Start with one small action today. Karma is not built from one great act, but from hundreds of small seeds we plant, hour by hour, minute by minute. Conclusion. Once an elderly gentleman told me that when he was young, he was afraid of death. That fear made him live in a hurry, always feeling tired. Then he learned about karma and the journey of the soul. He realized that living rightly and living kindly is the true key to a long life. We have traveled together through 11 parts of this journey. Each part is a piece of the puzzle, helping you see more clearly what early death is and how to prevent it. You have seen that karma is not a punishment. Karma is simply the result of what we plant and nurture every single day. We have spoken about the soul and its mission, about the law of cause and effect and the power of good deeds, about soul contracts and love that transcends time. And finally, we have learned 9 ways to sow good seeds for a long, healthy life. Compassionate heart, pure speech, healthy eating, helping others, letting go of anger, releasing greed, caring for the body, nurturing harmonious relationships, practicing mindfulness. How many of these have you already been practicing? Which one will you begin with today? I want you to remember, no one can do this for you. Your life is the result of the seeds you plant yourself. If you have found value in these reflections, take a moment to congratulate yourself. That is the first step toward wisdom and awakening. Try applying just one small change today and notice the difference. Then share your experience to inspire others. I am grateful to you for taking the time to listen and reflect with me. You have done this not only for yourself, but also for those you love. If you find this message helpful, please subscribe to Son.Mindfulness. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear your stories and perspectives, and share this video with someone you want to see live a longer, healthier life. You never know, a single word you share could save someone's life. May you always have health, peace, happiness, and good fortune. Thank you.